'Twas the night before Chessmas, when all through the chessboard not a piece was moving, not even a pawn horde. The pieces were arranged on the board with care, in hopes that a checkmate would soon be there. The chess pieces were nestled all snug on their squares, with visions of activating both bishops' pairs. The queen on her square, and the king on his, waiting patiently for the start of Chessmas. When out on the board a pawn moved to e4, then another pawn sprang from their square to e5. Knight to f3, attacking with aggression. Knight to c6 to give the pawn protection. The light square bishop comes to b5 to say hi to the knight. Black pawn to a6, more feet defense to get the bishop out of sight. The bishop moves to a4 and says, "No harm, no foul." The other black knight moves to f6 with a growl. Wow, with that move we have a Roy Lopez main line. The white king and rook castle, making things just fine. The black knight can take the pawn on e4 if it dares. Instead, the bishop moves to e7 to get some fresh air. Now rook e1 to protect our brave pawn. Now pawn b5 to tell the bishop to move along. To b3 the bishop retreats, escaping unharmed. Now the black king and rook castle with charm. White moves the pawn to c3 to prepare its next move. A black pawn to d6, it was so smooth. White plays h3 to control g4. The black bishop fincellos to b7, protecting the knight once more. This is the Roy Lopez Alcev variation. The pieces learned this opening with Chessmas dedication. White pawn to d4, pushing to the center for control. Rook to d8 to develop his role. White b knight to d2, linking with the other knight. Black bishops backups to f8, which provides the rook some daylight. White pawn to a4 to offer an exchange. Black pawn to h6 to keep white pieces out of range. Bishop to c2, pointing towards the black king as a bishop pair. The black pawn captures d4, the first capture of this Chessmas Eve affair. The white pawn captures d4, doing the same. Knight to b4, things are starting to heat up in this game. Bishop to b1, saving the bishop pair. A pawn launches to c5 to share the center air. White pawn to d5. Black knight to d7, moving back. White rook to a3. Black pawn to f5, a counterattack. Things are picking up. Both sides are hoping to create chances. Rook a to e3, knight f6, knight h2, into the corner h8, the black king dances. White pawn b3, black pawn captures a4, white pawn captures a4, then black plays c4. Bishop b2, pawn captures e4, knight captures e4. Knight f captures d5, then rook g3, followed by rook e6. Knight g4, queen e8, knight captures h6, followed by c3, knight f5, and then the pawn captures the bishop on b2. Queen g4, bishop c8, queen h4, this is what we call check, rook h6 to defend. Knight captures h6, Then pawn captures h6 to prevent the win. King h2, queen e5, knight g5, queen f6, rook e8, and bishop f5. Queen captures h6 with check, queen captures h6. Knight f7 check, and the king moves to h7. Not taking the queen with the knight, but bishop captures f5 with check, then queen to g6. Bishop captures g6 with check, and king to g7. Rook captures a8, and bishop to e7. The end is in sight. After rook b8, pawn a5, bishop e4 discovery check, king captures f7, bishop captures d5 with check. It was in this position that black resigns. Merry Chessmas to all, and to all a good night.